Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is the new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to lead his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all the living acts of Moorish America. Moorish America must pay their dues and keep an eye on all necessities of Moorish America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, be industrious, and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. With the recitation of our national prayer and the reading of our divine constitution and its bylaws, we now will officially declare our meeting open according to Act 2. Blood, truth, peace, freedom, and justice by our divine constitution. We want to welcome you, each and every one, to our State of the Nation conference call, and our subject matter for tonight will be the Moorish American birthright of independence. The Moorish American birthright of independence. I'll be your host and instructor for the evening, Akanatu the Common Bay, and we have a lot of ground to cover tomorrow, so I want to try to encourage each and every one of you to please, Lord, have your Declaration Proclamation in front of you. It's also located in the Exhument of a Nation, those of you who have the book, as well as it's on our website, MoorishAmericanGov.org. We also have, if you have your copy in front of you, we ask you to please make a note of it, because it will be coming strictly from this, especially in express purpose of getting back, going back through the UN shortly. So this is another preparatory class that we have tonight in teaching our people the nationality and also the importance of the divine creed as well. We want to also acknowledge our chapter for the week, which is dealing with the fivefold. The first of these, of course, is dealing with the instability. These fivefold modes of dire necessity. You cannot make it as a conscious Moorish American, as a mastermind, as an adept, as a citizen of Moorish America. You won't be able to make it without these five. You got to learn about these fivefold. You got to learn how to conquer the self, master the Lord's self. You got to learn how to become. You got to learn how to free yourself from slavery. And the form of slavery that we have now, which is untangible, it's not seen, you can't put your hands on it. The reason why, because it's all in the mind. The mind is on lockdown. The mind has been enslaved. It's undergoing whippings every day. Okay? But the reason why you don't show any bruise and the scar is because it's all in the mind. If you don't know how to be yourself, and you don't know how to exercise the actions of the soul, like thinking, reasoning, understanding, remembrance, then you're going to be taken advantage of. And just because you think you know the English language and you're still not free, you still don't know. Okay? So these lessons, what we call the fivefold, the first of these is chapter 40 of the Holy Quran of Moorish America, is instability, the instability of man. And the second one, chapter 41, is inconstancy. The third is chapter 42, weakness. chapter 43, insufficiency of knowledge, and chapter 44, misery. So what I want to do, I want to seek the assistance of our Sister Grand National Secretary, Sister Seth Ramonil, to assist me with the reading of the very first page, Know Thyself, the Five Folds, the Adept Commentaries. Okay, and then with the Pinnacle of Wisdom. And so Sister Seth, do you have your document in front of you? This is the email chapter that I sent out to the Moors. If you do not have your email dealing with the first of the five folds, Know Thyself, Moors, then we encourage you, please just email me at my email site, which is the 4 words, Exhuming of a Nation. That's the Exhuming of a Nation, Exhuming of a Nation at hotmail.com. And request the chapters, and I will certainly be glad to send them over to you, okay? As well as any other documents that you need in support of your freedom. This is what our job is as a W government. So, Seth, are you there? Start with your phone, Seth.
Islam, gratitude. I got that part.
Okay, the first page with the sister's face on the front.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, I want you to read that, the whole page, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
The five folds with adept commentaries. Adept commentaries. Know thyself. Carefully and wonderfully are you made, but you should not vaunt the body because it was first formed, nor your brain because therein thy soul resided. Is it not the master of the house? Is not the master of the house more honorable than its walls? Wherefore is consciousness reposed on thee alone? Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, and remembrance. Call these not the soul; they are its actions, but not its essence. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Your one life is the summation of reincarnations that you must spend to build your temple of perfected man. Upon the plane of soul, you are a soldier, and will meet untold foes who are by the 5 major generals. Still, there is no failure for the human soul, so you will conquer them all, but in a conflict that cannot be told in words. There is only one great God, and all men are the children of this one Father. This does not change merely because carnal man sees himself as many. This fallen thinking will change as he looks into the true face of man only to see himself as God. Once you learn to esteem as you should, you will come to understand through your strife, you will become the pinnacle of wisdom. Love, noble Ali, true Akhenaten, first Emperor, Tutankhamun, faith. Swift Angel number 1, General Grand National Chairman, Islam.
Islam says, so thank you so much. And more than want to welcome you to our State of the Nation conference call. As forestated, the subject matter tonight will be dealing with the Moorish American birthright of independence. And I'm going to seek the assistance of our Grand National Secretary. As she comes before you, I want her to read. In fact, we're going to just go ahead on and start with the beginning, because in preparing for the UN Moors, we are, and I know we spoke about this on several occasions, but I want to stress it to those who's on this call, because you're on this call by no matter what nature. Some of you are here by a divine will, some are here because you want to be, some are here because you sincerely want to learn, some are here because you want to find out exactly what's going on. There's many other carnal reasons, but the true reason why you're here is because this is an appointment by the great God Allah through our ancient fathers, through the Prophet Noble Ali. That's the reason why you're on this conference call. If you're here among all the millions and millions of our people, and less than 100 is on this conference call, this is the divine reason why it's you. This means that you have gone through certain aspects principles. Also, before we run into a little situation, we ask everyone, if you are not speaking or have not been invited to speak, we want you to please mute your phone. You can still hear the lesson and hear what's going on, but when it comes time for you to speak, then you can star 6 your phone again. Right now, I want everyone to please star 6 your phone to mute until it says muted, okay? And right there, it won't be interfering with the call. Thank you so much. I want to further express, let me tell you what will also happen. Now, we have, in the moderator, the host, we have certain powers, okay? For example, right now, okay, now, I can mute out everybody. You couldn't press the star 6 button and get nothing done with it at all. We got that kind of authority. But we try not to exercise this because we're here to help our people. We want to give you an opportunity to exercise your fire. Right now, we got the conference call muted out. The only person that can talk is me. Nobody. The only person that can talk is me right now. But we don't want to do this. We can also shut it down. I can hit the star 7 button and shut the whole thing. Can't nobody call in. Those who's in, if you lose the call or drop out, you can't get back in. But we don't exercise that either. So we ask them, well, please do not come off on the carnal level. These lessons are too high, they're too important. It's about your freedom. Forget about me being Pleasant Bay. Forget about all that other. Forget about that. Look into your own self and see if you're free or not. If you're not free as a people, then you need to be on this call and pay attention. Okay? So hold on a second because we want to call in the Grand National Secretary in a second. All right, Sister Secretary.
Yes, Paula.
Solid. Thank you so much. What I want you to do, Aisha, I want you to read the Moorish America Birthright of Independence, the first 4 of the short paragraph, and the first reason. I got them noted here as when this and when that. But actually, they are reasons because by law at the United Nations Moor, by law at The Hague, which is in the Netherlands, by law, which is at the Geneva, Switzerland, by law, which is in the headquarters of our ancient forefather, which is down in Kemet, or Egypt, if you will. These are the 4 major headquarters of the world. And they all have the harmony of certain laws, okay? Number 1, in our case, when you want to appear as an indigenous nation to rejoin yourself with the family of the nation, then there are certain avenues, there's certain texts that you must be met, certain tests that you must pass to prove that you are who you say you are. This is why you will never get there being NGO, local organization. I don't care if you want to call yourself the world of Moorish science, the Moorish Science Temple. It don't matter. Call yourself Washington, New Wab, it don't matter. You only got one free national name, and that was brought to you by the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Okay? And if that is not taking you to the UN, nothing will. Okay? Nothing else is going to do it. So what we want to do is to give you all the tools. There are certain charters, there are certain laws, including self-determination, that you must exercise, okay, in going through the criteria and the requirements of the United Nations. It's set this way for a reason. Our forefathers said the time's going to come when you're going to have to prove that you are who you say you are. And this is done by all nations. Never be surprised when a nation come before you and say, who goes there? This is the lawful right of every nation with every government on earth. They are entitled to know who is amongst them. Are you friend? Are you foe? Okay? So are you a citizen? Or are you a member of some other secret society that's trying to overthrow this government? they're entitled to know and to inquire. As you know, right now, in the midst of here in the United States, they're going about a terrible thing in this country right now that's bringing about everything. In fact, I'm going to send this out on the email. I want to give honor to, say what Sister Perez there, to send this thing over to me. It's an update on the concentration camps, the millions of disposable coffins, and the railroad cars, 300,000 of them, set aside for the genocidal practice, or they call it a lot of other things, but it's pure genocide, okay? The United States has never signed a genocide treaty at the United Nations. It's been a member of the United Nations from the very beginning. That the Prophet Noble Dwelly himself organized from the soul plane. And the United States has never once signed the International Genocide Treaty, okay? But this means, and they say the reason because they have too many uncivilized and impossible aliens in their mix. This is what the United States, this is how they describe those who cannot be a citizen of the United States government. It doesn't make no difference what the 14th Amendment says, because that's all the law anyway. The 14th and 15th Amendment is ex post facto to the Constitution of the United States, especially the 13th Amendment. So what we're doing now is what is required by law. At the end of slavery, it is the duty of those who have been enslaved for them to free themselves, come back and link themselves back with the nations of the earth. This is an obligation that that the ex-slave, former slave, have on them. Okay? It is not the responsibility of those that enslaved you to free you. The United States don't have that kind of power. And it's very simple if you understand the fact that the United States has never been a Moorish American. They enslaved the Moorish American and then gave them the misnomer of Negro, black, and colored. That's the way we read it during the time of slavery. Okay? But they can't free you. They cannot make you, undo you from being a Negro, black, and colored. They can make all the Negroes in the world, but they can't reverse the process. Why? Because it's a mind. After 520 years of being one thing, it's a mindset. So you need these lessons in order to free the mind. So what I'm gonna do tonight, I want to seek out the wisdom with our Grand National Secretary and have her to read for you. By the way, you also have to express the reason why you want to seek and gain your independence from the nation that has oppressed you, suppressed you, enslaved you, call it whatever it is you want to call it. But you've got to show reason, just like the United States did when they broke away from Britain, and just like the southern Sudan recently, last year in fact, when they broke away from the northern section of the Sudan and became their own independent country, they had to show reason, okay? All the little camps and other forms of death that was being laid out for, and people gassing their own people and saying, no, that's no way. You cannot stay a people under those kind of circumstances. You cannot stay a people when you have been oppressed and staying something that you are not. Powerless slaves, powerless Negroes, powerless black people, powerless Afro-Americans. You cannot make it. Okay? You don't own anything. You don't even own the drawers on your yes. Simple as that, okay? Anyway, Aisha.
Yes, sir.
Again, we want to answer her. Please move. I know we got a lot of more to put it hard-headed and stiff-necked on the call, but more, please respect your brothers and sisters, okay? And don't, if I ask you to start, fix your phone so you can mute yourself out, why don't you just follow the instructions, okay? Don't act like a slave, because a slave is one who's made to do. Now, we can make you mute it. All you got to do is hit the button. I just showed you that. So please, more star, fix your button till it mutes out while the secretary come before you and give you the laws that's going to free you at the United Nations. These are must. It's already been there. They approved it with the highest of authority. They put the signature on it from straight across the board from Geneva, Switzerland, that these laws, this is the only way the Moorish Americans are free. We've been waiting on it for almost 60 years to do this. But you got other people, just like that's trying to keep you enslaved. They was there at the UN with that foolishness. Will be all kinds of different NGOs and what have you. It's not the way. The only way we're going to be free is what we're doing now. It's been ordained that way. This is not something, you don't have a whole lot of options here. Ain't but one way. Either you're going to be free or you be a slave. Aisha, let me do it once more. Okay, it says, would you read the first three paragraphs, please, of the Moorish American birthright of independence?
Islam, gratitude, Brother Chairman. Islam Moors, first of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving the most special honor to our Prophet, Noble Jurah Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, with angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish kin, giving honor to our State of the Nation conference call this evening. The Moorish American birthright of independence. The United States, in her infancy, bears witness that no nation will be free to live out its creed, personify the grand principles, and attain unlimited capacity of development while under the yoke, laws, and tyranny of another government. Neither have the Moorish Americans been free to be themselves since their 1865 abolishment from Negro chattel slavery. Nay, while under the immutable jurisdiction of the United States 14th and 15th Amendments of grant privileges as Negroes, blacks, and colored people, we have been separated from the rights guaranteed to all free national citizens in the body of her Constitution. Under the state-certified slave labels, we have been subjected to every form of abuse, mistreatment, and degrees of genocide the citizens cared to bestow upon us. Second paragraph. The Moorish Americans, through rights of divinity, have come forth as a clean and pure people, empowered with the inalienable birthright to be an upright, independent, and fearless nation. In accordance with the Declaration of Human Rights, they have the human right to be known by one true free national name and by number, with divine constitution de jure, officials of government, attaché and ambassadors, principals, our flag, and holy books. We have the inherent right to land, air, and waterways, originally civilized, inhabited, and cultivated by our ancient forefathers, and to ensure the sanctity of our men, women, children, and their prosperity. Paragraph 3. That to secure these rights, there are governments instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it then becomes the just right of the people to abandon it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on the omnipotent principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. While man's evils to man are made sufferable, evil is not requisite to man. And when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces projections by your National Criminal Justice Commission to disproportionately incarcerate 63% of Moorish men between the ages of 18 and 36 by the year 2020, with programs in place to eradicate their family structure by displacement of the fatherheads of households and by glorifying the fallen state of 8.2 million single moms among its women. It is their natural right. It becomes their duty to unfold away from such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
All right, think about the standby, sis, because I'm going to call on you again in a minute, okay? And this is the document that was introduced at the United Nations, and this is also the document that is holding our people in the light of freedom, so that they can follow the instruction that was given to them by, so that we can follow the instruction that was given to us by the illustrious prophet Noble Ali. And that is, and you'll find this in the chapter 48, where it says, come and link yourselves with the nations of the earth. So in order to link yourself with any kind of chain, whatever link it is, you have got to be like every other link. In this case, you've got to be a nation to join the other nation. Okay? You cannot join the nation of the earth as an organization. Organizations are subordinate to nations. One nation can own millions of organizations, but not one organization can own a nation. Okay? So with this in mind, I want to bring to your attention that the portion of the document that was read by the Grand National Secretary is the portion that was introduced to the United Nations in behalf of all 60 million of the Moorish America. We're primarily concerned with those that's in the nucleus of what is now called the United States jurisdiction. Okay? Those of us who are still around Canada, the peninsulas, the islands, including the Central America, and even some portions of South America, that is still under the concept that they are Negro, Afro-Americans, and blacks, and all this. They're included also. Okay? It took centuries to beat out the free natural spirit, the divine rights, and the human rights out of our people, and to render them powerless generation after generation. So that's the reason why we have these laws now. If you notice in the second paragraph, she spoke about the Moorish America through the rights of divinity. Now, oftentimes you hear about civil rights, you even hear about human rights, but nobody tells you that you have the divine right to be a God, that you have the divine right to be a people. This question is, the very first question Noble Ali asked him was, the questioner gives you the authority to exercise your rights of divinity. The first question is, who made you? Just that simple. 3 words. Who made you? That's the very first question of the questioner. The answer, of course, is Allah. To whom do we refer to at times as being the great God? Allah. Okay? So therefore, who made you? The great God made you. This gives you the divine right to be a people, to be a God. If someone wants to know, well sister, why you call yourself a goddess? Because the great God made me. That's why. Silly. What'd you say? All right? The fruit can't fall too far from the tree. Now, if you walk around and you around a bunch of grape orchards or grapevines and things, and you all of a sudden you start finding cucumbers and cabbages and nuts and stuff, you know good and well that didn't come from no grapevine. Okay? Everything is going to bear the fruit of its nature. And so the same thing holds with the great God Allah. If the great God Allah made you, then how could the great God make you without you having every essence about you that also from the source in which you came? Okay? So also we want to, there's a formula as to how you secure these divine rights. This is in paragraph 3. Secure these rights. All right? And in order to do that, you have to develop among yourself a government. This is what the instruction came to us from the United Nations. Say, go back, get your women and children, go back, formulate among yourself the government. Okay? Get your own everything. When you say the government, this includes everything all your laws. It includes your flag, your emblem, your seal, everything about you. It includes your history, everything about you for you to make yourself a people, a nation of people. You cannot do it without a government, okay? Because the government is what institutes your powers to be a people. This is what governments are set aside for, okay? And along these lines, you also said it's a just right of people to abandon those institutions of government that has placed all kinds of methods to enslave you, subject you to genocide by any means necessary. And there is no doubt in the mind. We're not just talking about little situations about Trayvon Martin, you know, they had a big celebration yesterday in Washington, or was it the day before yesterday, celebrating the anniversary, 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr. in Washington, the grand speech, okay? But the truth of the matter is, civil rights is begging the same people that enslaved you to give you, that has to lighten up on me a little bit. Please, master. Let me have a little bit of civil rights. I got a right to vote too. We a nation of people. We the people. We a nation. No, you're not a people. You're not a people until you show that you are a people. That's why you have to have the Declaration of Independence. That's what this proclamation is. Okay? It's a declaration of independence. So that you are a people based upon your history, based upon your foundation, your forefathers, based upon your own Moorish flag, not the present day flag, but you won't find a nation nowhere on earth that don't have its own flag, and you cannot find a flag of Morocco. In fact, if you knew what the flag of Morocco entailed, you wouldn't want to fly it no more in life anyhow. That's the flag that was used to enslave you. So, and number one, you also have to show reason or reasons why you have to break away from the United States, or anything else that threatens or subject you to any kind of thing that may not allow you to be a family. Like you're talking about a husband, wife, sons, daughters. This is what constitutes a family. But you can't say you're that under the Negro, black, and color. Negro, black, and color don't have families. Okay, they don't have sons and daughters. You don't have your own marriage law, so you can't have no wife and husband. No. Okay? You still going to the slave masters, or can we tie these knots or jump the broom? And then you go and you have another litter that's going to satisfy the regime economically, in which have been enslaving you and your grandparents all the time. You haven't grown a bit. This is the reason why you must declare your independence. The only way you declare your independence, you got to show your independence. Okay? So I want to go to the next page, where that, because we went through about 4 of these last time we were together, but I want to ask Secretary to go to the reason with deal with the state certified professionals. But we the people with over 9.6 million state certified professionals, 4 million Muslims, over 8 million. Can you see that, Aisha?
Hold on 1 second.
I think it's about let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6 1. We the people. When a people with over 9.6 million.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, would you read that one, please?
Yes, sir.
Again, Moors, these are reasons why you must get away from the United States. So listen carefully. Go ahead.
When a people with over 9.6 million state-certified professionals, 4 million Muslims, over 8 million members of Freemasonry and other secret societies, numerous celebrities of every field, over 200 mayors and governors, 40 members of Congressional Black Caucus, a host of officials, appointed judges, a U.S. justice here, and The Hague, a people with over 90% Christian leaders and followers, 99% of descendants of ex-slaves, and nationalize commercial property are European trained as opposed to being educated. Leadership is always disallowed amongst chattel. This is the reason they, as a people, have been forbidden to muster or sustain one leader from among themselves. Due to the long-standing systems of miseducation of their free status within the human family, while being shielded under the grandeur of famed U.S. citizenship, their nobility cannot shine through revised identifications of abolished slave labels. The abyss of slavery is evil and sinful when it has produced contented slaves through the ignorance of knowing they are slaves. Sloth?
There's another part there that says that.
Oh, yes, sir.
When we
Okay. When we have not been able to promote from the sons of man our equal to sovereign power and set as a ruler over ourselves for the good of our kingdom due to feigned freedom under the nationalized citizenry.
All right, thank you. That word is feigned freedom. In other words, when something is feigned, it's spelled F-E-I-D-N, feigned. It means reverse, pretend. It's not real. Make believe. So if you got a feigned freedom, you got fake freedom. Make believe. It appears to be freedom, but it's not. Just like the majority of so-called Negroes today, or black people, Afro-American, they think they're citizens of the United States. They think they're free, but they're not. Okay? You cannot be free in any man's government, any man's society, and you not be a free natural citizen or a naturalized citizen of that special government. And you have to have the criteria, the qualifications to be a citizen in the first place, which Negroes do not. Negro is a property name. Afro-American is a property name. And anything, I'll put it to you this way, more, and some of you may not like this, okay? But it don't matter. If you look for love, talk to the Grand Sheik. My name is Justice. Okay, that's what I'm going to give it. My instruction from the prophet to tell you the truth. Okay, so it don't really matter. I just got to give it up. All right? And the truth of the matter is that when you look amongst your own people to see if you have any kind of power, any kind of strength at all, as Afro-America, these other different groups and organizations, I don't care what they call themselves, they ain't find out that. They ain't nobody, nothing. They haven't produced anything. They're not even allowed to have a leader amongst them for no extended period of time, okay? Unless that special leader is doing the bidding of the slave master. Let's call it like that. I'm getting tired of saying the United States anyway, okay? Now, I'm talking about leaders, and you can tell me, it doesn't make any difference to me, all right? I'm here now, and I'm tired of seeing my people are present. So when it comes down to the Al Sharpton and the Reverenites and Jesse Jackson and Farrakhan, it's all the same. Okay, these are paid puppets with strings attached to the European dynasty. Every last one of my Masons, Boulets at that, for the better part. That includes Farrakhan. What other man gonna stand before you and tell you that you're black when he knows darn well, excuse the French, that is darn, ain't it? I think, okay. That you're not. I know Farrakhan knew because I told him myself. Made sure he knew. Gave him a history of his own leader. Okay? And he's still doing it. Even going to tell you that Allah is black. Now you know when you got a black God and the word black, and that's all it is. Black ain't even a color. It's a word, and it has a definition. It means death. So you got a dead God for a dead. I guess it's so. That's why the time is going to come to say the dead will walk the earth. Anyway, when you look at this, it said you got to know that this is the reason that they as a people have been forbidden to muster or sustain one leader amongst themselves. You can't go back in the history of the Negro and find no leader that stood no kind of length of time. Okay? Even the NAACP's got to change leaders periodically. And they ain't doing nothing because they're keeping the people as what? Negroes. And Negroes Improvement Association, whatever the case may be, okay? If it's got NBC on it, it's keeping the people enslaved. I don't care what it is. If it's using a slave name, the name that was given to slave, and you must remember this was what's called the Black Code Law of 1774 under the British, the UK Constitution. Their Constitution, because there was no such thing as the United States in 1774. It was still the colonies under the British rule and under the British Constitution. And it was Britain that handed down, that had slavery in their Constitution. They're the one that handed down the laws called the Black Code Laws to make it legal, make it official that the so-called Moors would not be Moors no way, but Negroes, black and colored people, okay, henceforth and forever. So it was no more than right when George Washington was also under the British rule. When he gained his little independence, he still enforced the Constitution of Britain and his own Constitution of the United States. And we got charged with a few other crazy more talking about we wrote the United States Constitution. Yes, we did. And right there in Article 1, we wrote ourselves in as slaves. See that? The 3/5 clause right there. That's us. So our people wrote the United States Constitution, wrote their own self in it as slaves. Please. I understand slaves are crazy. I can understand it because they're not about the right mind. But I don't think in their wildest dream that a slave would sit down and write a law that's going to further enslave it, even if he knew how to write. Okay? So when it comes down to certain things that we're forbidden, and it also speaks about the abyss of slavery is evil and sinful. It's called an abyss because you don't know the depth and the width and the the boundaries of the slavery that our people has undergone. The reason why, because it's no longer a physical slavery. For years it was, of course. But now you can't find a chains and things, shackles other than enforcement of the United States Constitution with those who are duly convicted of a crime, so they say. But they'll treat you any kind of way. Any kind of way. Why? Because you don't have a government, no nation to back you up, where you ain't got your own set of laws and things. The United States can't do nothing with you if you are your own government, you're your own nation of people. And you're not doing anything illegal. You're doing what is required of you. It's up to you to free yourself from slavery. So this is the reason why we want to speak about so tentatively, delicately about the Moorish and birthright. You got a right, a birthright to be independent of the United States. We're not speaking, what they call it, radical, agitating the United States. Later for them. I'm only concerned with us, our people. What is your right? You don't have no rights under the United States Constitution. None. None. You keep on bellyaching and bad-mouthing about I want the right to travel. And then you want to go to the court. Master, I got a right to travel. This driver's license ain't legal, master. My birth certificate ain't legal, master. You still ain't gonna get no freedom from the United States. Because the courts are not set aside for having the jurisdiction over another people. The United States courts and all their jurisdiction can only control and master those things that belong to the United States, even if it is a cooperation. So this is something that people got to get through their thick head. It don't make no difference about running out them courts. You're not going to gain no freedom. Yeah, I'll put people on the street that had double license on death row, put them on the street, and it still ain't free. Why? Because they didn't want to have the nerve enough to come together as a people and free everybody. That's how you get free. I've got my freedom, but I can't keep it without you. And so you wonder about why I'm raising so much sand on the on the conference calls and blog out radio. That's the reason why, because I've got mine. I feed myself, my family, everybody, okay? But I cannot sustain it. I've been to the UN, okay? I cannot sustain this without you, because we are a people, okay? Yeah, you can talk about slavery all you want to, but I've been there. I've done everything they probably asked to do, and I know it works because they work with everybody else. The same thing, if you want to say, well, presently, how in the world you get this brother out of jail? And two sisters, how do you get them out of penitentiary? Underneath that wrong with yoking law, federal and state, how'd you do that? The same thing that Noble Ali did in Atlanta, Georgia, with Marcus Garvey. How did you get Marcus Garvey out of there and have them deported, clean out the United States? Because he had to take it. Marcus Garvey came from one government. He was born under the jurisdiction of Jamaica, although Jamaica was not independent at the time. But Marcus Garvey was no slave, so the United States had to let him go, but they could only let him go to another government in which they had allegiance, and that was back to the UK, where he had also studied as a college student. Okay, and so that's how Noble Ali did it. And so it was very self said, well, good gracious, if he can go to the federal penitentiary and release Marcus Garvey, then, and sure enough, it works. It works, all right? The thing about it is, what good is it going to do to free a few and leave the many enslaved? Okay? All right, sis, go to the next one.
When the peace of all societies depended on justice, the happiness of individuals, on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Yet, so-called black persons, being colorful American citizens, are they themselves possessed. The gold, silver, and commerce belong to the citizens, and because all persons born or naturalized are real property under the laws of the United States, so-called African Americans generate an annual $750 billion as consumers, yet have no true wealth have no true wealth and own no possessions as a people. Since it is not in the nature of cattle to also be the owner, the mass production of Negroes, colored folks, and black people made only in America was never designed for them to be autonomy themselves. From this die of court and state-owned slavery alone, they have no right that the true citizens are bound to respect. They will never enjoy the peace of a society while latent in a perpetual sin of slavery.
Ooh, thank you. Okay. In fact, before I go into read the next two, that way I put them both together, okay? And the scripture says, furthermore, what you say is reason. You have to give reason as to why you are not seeking independence, but gaining your independence away from the United States. These are your reasons. So when she says when, it's the reason. A reason number this. When is the reason number that? Okay, go ahead, sir.
When, as Negroes, black, and colored people have not received their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, whereas they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under their free national constitution of the state government and not under a granted privilege, as has been the existing condition for many generations. The granted privilege of the Negro vote cannot be counted as one man, one vote, while the 3/5 clause remains cloaked in the esoteric word person, thereby rendering from a peopleless people the clandestine 3-to-make-1 ballot at the discretion of the citizens to be cast hither, thither, or wherever to favor their will.
All right, thank you. A lot of people, and I'll take it in reverse of the way you read the last one first. A lot of Moors that's under the officers of the Negro, black, and colored, they think they have the right to vote. And in fact, they spoke about this at Martin Luther King celebration many times. Though I think all the speakers one time spoke about the voting right, and I'm wondering what they're going to do, how they marched 50 years ago, and what they're going to do. The thing about it is that even now they still pass laws to this very day where it takes 3 black votes to even count as a vote if they elect to do so. In most states, if you notice that when it comes down to election time, if they feel like they'll let you go ahead and vote, and know that they put up much opposition in most places, though. But they'll let you vote, and then they'll find out that something happened to the vote. Always, you never see in the people so much discrepancy as voting. In this case, a lot of people don't realize that it takes 3 property votes to make a real vote in the first place, and that's their own 3/5 clause enacted. Okay, so you also find that the 15th Amendment is the post facto, which is supposed to give the property right to vote, but property can never be citizen. Okay, you will not find property and citizenry in the same law. It's just impossible. It's like you're taking your furniture or your vehicle or your house or something, and then they say, well, the house is on fire, so you're going to take the house to court. The car's in a wreck, so you're going to take the car to court. No, you don't take property to court because property don't apply to the law. All right? Now, you can take the citizen who owns the property. Okay? And to tell you the truth about today, the truth of the matter is, if you notice on your arrest papers and even the traffic violations, look at the tickets that they write out to you, and see, don't they have Negro or black and white on that, on every last one of them. Okay? On your indictment papers, or your description as when they first fingerprint you or arrest you or take your picture or whatever, look how they describe you. Black, Negro, Afro-American, this kind of thing, okay? So what in the world, it says Negro, and of course it's their law now. They're the one that made Negroes, all black people, they made them right here. Look at your divine Constitution. So what in the world they're doing with property in the courts? You can only do that because of the contract laws, which is something Brother Emmanuel speaks about all the time. Okay? You can only do that when you got the property, make them think that they're a citizen, and they're going to sign the contract or the treaty or the traffic ticket or, I did rob the bank, and I did shoot him and things, and so you sign the contract so that they can go ahead and pronounce judgment on you in their court. That's just like locking up a car because of the motor locked up on it. Okay? So this is an impossibility. It's a violation. The 14th and 15th Amendment in violation of the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. Very clear. Because there was originally there was really 20 sections to that 13th Amendment originally. They only passed, all those 20 sections, they only passed 2. And one of them was to give you was to abolish slavery. The other one was to give the right for the Congress to have say-so or final say-so into any subject matter that had to do with those who've been had to do with the abolishment of slavery. He gave Congress complete authority. Okay? So, with those 2, that was the only one ratified or passed. And the rest of the time, the other ones, they didn't even give no life. Wouldn't even vote into existence. Because it had to do with your colonization, your nationalization, and everything else that would normally free you as a people. Because your job, the reason why they got rid of the 18th section, because your job it's your job to free you, not the United States. Okay? So with this in mind, there's a vast difference from being a citizen and being property, Moorish. Okay? And what I want to do, Sister Secretary, if you will, I want to skip the one about the so-called Negro slave that used to be slave name, and the 2/5 clause, so we've covered that pretty much. But I want to go to the one after that, that when the people with over 9.9 million States certified professional. Wait a minute. Let me get it right. I'm sorry about that. Okay, here. The one that says the next one, the 6 score and the 15 years of post-slavery emancipation. I'll read that one.
When 6 score and 15 years of post-slavery and emancipation of African nationals have not yielded their just nationalization, colonization, reparations, nor self-education, but depleted for the economical, political, industrial, religious entertainment, and competitive advantages of the United States, it is only befitting in the course of justice for the Moorish Americans to best honor the benevolence of that government through a treaty of peace and friendship, rather than be a sensitive tumor on the body of that state.
Okay, thank you. Stand by, sis. Appreciate it. Now, what this is saying, Moore, if you know you got a lot of Afro-American groups out here that try to get reparations. Impossible. It'll never happen. You cannot give reparations, first of all, is a high level of diplomacy or diplomatic purpose or reasoning from one government or one people to one that they have offended, okay? And the reparation comes in the form of either money or in the form of land or both, okay? And so you have you cannot have reparations when it comes to property, okay? You cannot give money and land to property because property can't own property. Money and land is property. It belongs to a civilized state of what should I say, a governed body of people, citizens, okay? Citizens can own property, but they have a right, a natural right to own property, be it land, air, or water, okay? But property don't own property. So those that have been trying to get reparations, this is why it'll never happen. Never. How you cannot give the offender do not owe property any kind of apology. Now look at the different Indian, so-called Indian tribes that have received reparations from the United States. I got a section in my book about that. Okay, and that's throughout, including the Japanese, that they had to apologize to during the time of World War II. That they took the Japanese was here already working and had their own businesses and land and products. They locked them all up, put them in concentration camps because they invaded the United States. But they later, after the United States had won the war, they still had to commit reparations to those Japanese that didn't, as they say, they didn't have anything to do with the law. But the Japanese that was Japanese Americans, they were still recognized as citizens. And so therefore, since they was offended by losing property and everything else, then the United States owed them reparations. The same thing with different, the Sunni, the Apache, I could go on all up and down the ladder, okay? It's different Indian tribes that they had to pay reparations to, and so what they did, they put on what they call reservation, where they had to reserve area or land, okay, as federal grants, the reserved area, what they call reservation, so that they could practice their own independent sovereign powers and laws amongst their people with their own constitution and a measure of their forefathers that seemed good unto themselves. They could do that without any kind of molestation or harm from the United States. That's why you won't find FBI, CIA, and all them on these so-called Indian reservations unless they are summoned, okay? These are unincorporated territories, but they're still in the confines of the United States, so subsequently it still ain't free, okay? But I'm just letting you know about reparations. How come it will never be given to property? The Apache was always always a patriot, long before the European came along, so I call them Indians or Indians, okay? So, man, Anyway, before I call on the sister next time, I want to point this other little thing here, too. When, or the reason. Here's another reason. When the colonies, corporations, towns, cities, and homes travel ways and means we have planted are not our own. Okay? In other words, the things that we built, including the Capitol and the White House, even the Moors, the colored slaves, is the ones that built them. And there's hardly a highway right now or sewage line that you won't find out people. If they didn't design it, they had something to do with it. And one of them was designing a bulldozer, okay? And we give honor to our brother, Sunday school teacher, and Walker. That's what he do for the city of Baltimore. If it burn gas, he'll drive it. Okay? Plows, all kind of bulldozers, it doesn't matter, okay? But these kind of things say that our people, they're very much into building and constructing things, okay? They build things, if they didn't design the Empire State Building, I'll tell you what, it falls to the ground right now. You take out those systems that the Moors put in it. Remove that from it, it falls to the ground, okay? So I wanted to point that out, that when they come to these colonies and cities and towns and homes, that we're planted, but they weren't ours. Okay? They didn't belong to us. And our subjects now enjoy the fruits of their own labor and security, and no happiness is consistent with the observance of their laws, of the United States laws. You can't enjoy yourself with your accomplishments and things that you think you've done. Because, you can't, if you want to celebrate the Super Bowl, it ain't your team. They own the team, too, and the colors that they wear. Although it takes our people to make up the team. Go figure that one out. Okay? The glory of our people is not exalted to the world as products of our own ingeniousness. In other words, you don't get no credit for the good that you do. Now, you want to hear, they invented the signal light, the stoplight. They invented the distance. They showed them how to use knives and forks. Don't mean nothing. Okay? All right, so Secretary, read the next three.
When the communities within the sovereign states, where the descendants of ex-slaves reside, are baited with imported drugs, weapons, and economical allurements, concealed with hooks of crimes, punishment, and death, while they, the nationless ones, are neither the owners, transporters, the military, nor minters of U.S. currencies, and have no controlling interest in these creations. Still, they net a 700% increase to U.S. prison industrial plantations since 1985 congressional sentencing guidelines.
Hold it right there, Aisha, for a second. Thanks, sweetheart. Moors, this is something here that you're so familiar with. You see it every day, but you're not paying. You almost have gotten numb to it. But let me explain what this particular one is about, the reason why we have to leave the United States, okay? I don't know if you really paid much attention, but she was speaking about how the descendants, our own descendants, and actually baited. Now, this whole passage right here, and I just give it to his daughter. You know when the prophet speaks about in the chapter in the Quran that even a fish wouldn't take the bait if he knew the hook was in it? This is what this is based on when I first wrote it, okay? Before the UN ever seen it, it's based upon that. And it clearly states that when the communities within the sovereign state, where the descendants of ex-slaves, our own people, reside, they live there, are baited. They're baited with imported drugs. Seems to sound familiar to you, okay? These are things, either fish wouldn't take the bait, so it's got to be something, an allurement, something that the fish enjoy, all right? So you got an unconscious people here in their own communities. All of a sudden, here comes imported drugs from everywhere on earth, okay, in their communities. They come to drugs. Okay? Weapons, guns, everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Okay? And we were speaking about last week where there's 50 of our own people every day, killed every day. Most of them kill themselves, each other. But where they get the weapons from? I've never heard of an Afro-American weapons where they build guns, make guns, okay? Not even bullets. But they're there in the communities. You can get them at will. Okay, you can go to Walmart buy them. Oh, man, goodness. Okay? Then you also have economical allurement. Okay? But each of these things are concealed with hooks of crimes. In other words, they look for you. You're going to violate something with the money, with the drugs, or with the weapons. You're going to violate something of their law, but you don't see the crime in it because you're looking at the bait. You don't see that, oh, my goodness, there's a hook in it. And the hook is a crime that they can use to do what? Make money off you, because with every arrest and conviction, hundreds of people get paid. Hundreds. I'm not talking about no lawyers, the bail bondsmen, the judges, the prosecutors. Then you got the jailers and the guards, the people in the kitchen, everywhere. A lot of people get paid on every arrest and conviction. Okay? So that's something that I want to point out to you. And the punishment is, in some cases, is just death. Okay? And sometimes they don't even wait to put you on death row. They'll go into a situation which today is real famous for this. It just happened yesterday, in fact, where that they'll create a situation. They say, well, he was holding hostage, and then he shot himself. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because you're there shooting all the barrage when you got the chance to him, and you managed to raise or whatever, then you kill it. But in order, so you won't have to be have the law enforcement investigate it, he shot himself. Yes, he did. But who are you to complain? Whether you dead or alive, you're still dead. All right, so go ahead with the other two.
When we, as free nationals, have our leaders stifled and disallowed to call together the wise men of our people, to consult among them with freedom, and hear the opinion of them all, no magistrates to be just, nor ministers to be wise, fathers without land, wealth, nor autonomy cannot smile upon the flourishments of our arts, neither gain strength from the sciences improved beneath the culture of our hands, to be inherited to our sons and daughters. When any government confounds the historical God of a slave-weakened people into the Maya of an illusionist black history that severs them from the worthiness of their ancient forefathers and ostracizing them from the family of nations and the human family from whence they derived. Continue.
Yeah, when those who call themselves Jews.
All right. When those who call themselves Jews, bearing no credit on the scale of nationality, receive $6.5 billion in reparations, with another compassionate measure of compensation to Japanese Americans joined with sovereign powers and immunities. Yet, no apology nor gratitude to those survivors of 400 years of slavery in America, the latter 225 years of which were under the American flag. Continue.
No, because I'm about tired now myself. Islam wars. This goes on. Got about maybe about 3 or 4 more of them, and then it concludes it with the corporate of the United States and what it is that we're supposed to do and declaring our independence. But the reason why we brought up this subject matter minimum is five other governments that's recognized to also recognize us. That's including the United States, would you believe it or not? Okay? And this right here goes towards building yourself as a nation state. The difference between going to the UN as a nation and going as a nation state means that if you go as a nation state, you're already recognized. And this is the master word that the prophet used in Acts 6. Okay, when they speak about us being recognized by the nations of the earth. Okay? So and that's how you bring about that kind of recognition, is that it shows that you have already exercised self-determination. When you see our conference call, this is one of the measures of us showing self-determination, that we have exercised our own powers within our own nation to educate our own citizens, our own children, our own people with their law, not some outside law where that we the people and George Washington this and Thomas Jefferson the other. No. These were slave owners. What you want to study their history for? Like we don't know a slave master when we see one. You can't tell us jack about a slave owner. Okay? We just found out about the citizens of mental slavery. One for Noble Drew Ali, we wouldn't know about that either. We don't know what the problem is. I don't understand, you know. And we got more that talk about each other, going against each other, like on this conference call right now. Someone don't want to start sick, they want to act right. They're crazy they can be. You know why? Because of the mental slavery. Their mind has not gotten, they're still enslaved more. Now, I'm not speaking negative about people because I love you too much for that, okay? What I am saying is this, is that if you're still doing the same thing that slaves do, okay, you're not trying to free yourself, you're not trying to come together and love each other, the reason for that is very simple. Your mind is on lockdown. No, you might not want to call yourself a slave. You might not want to call yourself with your head all up in slave master. Yes, but that's what's happening. When you don't have enough respect, they say, wait a minute, that brother, what did he call himself now? He's a grand sheik. I ain't gonna have no grand sheik. I got a president. He said in the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't know. His name is Raphael. He's the grand sheik of North America, Moorish America. Moorish America don't exist. You got 60 million Moorish America that tell you a bald-faced lie they do. But if you don't believe that they're Moorish America, like you don't believe you're Moorish America, then you're going to try to find some excuse. That means your mind is on lockdown. And that's the reason why we speak firmly the way that we do. Okay? So it's a blessing and an honor more to be able to come, because we know that, well, it's like this. If there is 100 people on the call, I'll tell you, hold on a second. Okay, that's on average is got 3 moderators plus 41 participants right now on the call. This means because the average person that called in has got about 2 or 3 other people listening. So you got roughly around 100 people on the call right now. Okay, and out of that amount, you can almost count like about 15, 20 that stand and really make a stand. I know it may sound sort of nerve-wracking and things, but this is the way it is, because our people have been built with doubt in their mind. They have become with such a self-defeatist attitude that they will come up with things, they'll create things in order to go against each other, which actually they're going against themselves, and they don't even realize it. But when you don't, when you do anything against the Prophet of Ali, his teaching, then you get, not only you doing things against your people, but the first person that you're hurting is you. Now that's a fact. And the way to prove that is simply this here. All you on the line got to answer this one question. Okay. Are you free as the people? Or are you not? And since you know you're not free as a people, what is it necessary that you must do in order to get free as a people? And then with that way, you're going to see that everything within the Moorish American government, within the government which you live, that's what's being done right now. Okay? And I want to extend much, much honor to the Moorish sisters down through the years that have been making a stand. They didn't blink, ain't waver, they bent over, they nothing. They've been right there. I want to extend much honor to the Moorish goddesses. Whether they divine ministers or not, they were right there. Okay? It's very, very important. The reason why I say that, because in every point in history, behind whenever a prophet wanted to be promoted, it was for the people really grab a hold of the teachings that the prophet brought to them to save them. It was the women of the nation that grabbed hold of the leader first. Don't answer why it's like that. Maybe because it's more of them, they always outnumber men. I'm not going to try to find no excuse. But even through the days of Jesus, it was the same thing. He come out the tomb, the first thing he saw was 3 women that the whole world know what happened. Because they told it. So they ain't anybody they talking about it. Okay? So I want to say much honor to the Moorish American women that has picked up the battle and ready to carry on and defend these teachings and these lessons. You know, and they got something to tell the children. They got something to teach the children. I want to extend honor also to Sister Mahaka, you know, for homeschooling 3 teenage boys, I mean, young brothers, okay? Young guys. That takes a lot. But now that she got something to really teach them about being their own government, being their own freelancers, and this right here is going to pay off. Why? Because in a minute, when they get back from the UN, all this right here that's been happening with the so-called nigga, that's going to end. Point blank. Now, we understand that a lot of them may have to go to some concentration camps and get them out. But, hey, but a lot of them are going to be so upset that if you want to know why the concentration is necessary, these camps are necessary, it's because when the truth hits and our people find out that they have been enslaving themselves by calling themselves slaves, Negro, black, and colored, that is, okay, Afro-American and this group and that group and this organization, that religion, and all this other kind of stuff. They have really been participating with putting their foot on their own neck. They are going to be ticked off to the highest of activity when they wake up and find out that they have been had and they the one that had this stuff. They're going to be totally ticked off. And for that reason, why you got the concentration camp. We're not going to, the problem is all of us ain't going to be free. Because if you free everybody at one time, we're going to mess around and tear up stuff. That's why we have to have this nucleus of divine medicine, the nucleus of those Moors that are dedicated to carrying this on. We got enough Moors now to fulfill the destiny of the whole movement. We don't have to have 200-300 million or 2-3 million of this, that. No. Because the truth is so powerful in the midst of naught and destruction and chaos that it takes one person to put 10,000 to flight. One. And I bear witness. I've done better than that by myself. By myself. I've created a lot of blessings to be able to write 2 books and has freed the mind and intellect of thousands. More than 10,000. We had, that was well over 10,000 of the book sold, okay? And I've had people call me out of everywhere talking about how the book saved their life. I got them a new level of thought pattern going on. How they didn't know this and didn't know that. Okay, of course, naturally, but at the same time, we got some more that's in opposition to the book. The anti-pleasant this and pleasant that, you know, woo, you know, don't. We tell in the Moorish Science Temple, they forbid their members to even read the book. Don't read that pleasant no more. It's America. This in the Moorish Science Temple, they're gonna tell members, don't buy the book, don't read that book, don't come up in here with that pleasant stuff. Tell you, that's the one thing I can say all the temples got in common. Okay. And on the other hand, in the book, those that want to go to the Moorish side, in my book, I tell us straight up, go ahead to the Moorish side, take the book with you. Take the book with you. That way you can ask the appropriate question. Wait a minute. You've been having these knowledge of these teachings since 1929. It's over 80 years. How come you ain't freed up as a people? No, don't ask that, because we want you to live a little longer. Anyhow, Moses, it's been a blessing speaking with you. And I want to thank the sister Seth, and also the Grand National Secretary. By the way, speaking of Secretary, yes, Moors is not confined to sisters either, but we're putting together a team. The policy is going to take 16 secretaries to write down a name, and we got enough names of the Moors with addresses and places and saying they have registered with the government on the 2 websites. Now, it don't take that many to do it, okay? So, yeah, it's been a gigantic blessing. But anyway, what I want to do, I want to open up the floor for those that may have comments or questions related to our nation state, subject matter tonight. Why must we